on the straits, and quite a few of them would turn up with a bait from the Sunday, flash outfit. The joy, you could walk along the bank with 7 different methods, but that was the beauty of it. That's really what was good. And then Tuesday to go into a bit of tackle. Monday night there'd be at least a couple of Bentley engineer people come by. And of course a lot of the hosiery people were threading eyes. The hook for the knitting is like a 18s up. So a lot of people that dealt with that all of a sudden were very comfortable with fine angling. Dave Downs, Dave Rosser, Bream, brilliant. A little bit heavier fishing, brilliant. The lighter stuff, struggle. Pete Jones, fine angler you'll ever see.
I didn't get to talk to him much, but I've spoken to him on the phone quite a bit, and he's sorting out some national results for Ivan in the 60s, because they're not in angling times. It just says Leicester AS £26, 28.
Yeah.
And unless one of them's framed, it don't. Whereas later on, like when you won it, it's got every single angler on every team breakdown.
That's a good thing what the points did, didn't it? Because you'd get down and zilch.
Before that, it was just Leicester had £28. Doesn't give you a breakdown.
You wouldn't even know how you made it up.
The 7 one, it did have the breakdown of the weights. There's no points. It just said.
Did Leicester win? Did we win it on the 7?
Yes.
Before our fish.
But
this
you
was
were
Robin
on the
Harris's
team, yeah. You fished it, didn't you?
For the Mouth and Stourport, I think.
But yeah, all the results were for that one, and some of the other ones. But it's it's like 63 to about 67. Well, Pete's dad's had all those results. So
it's very precise. And John's look at this.
John don't even know those results. So Pete's got them.
Don't he? And look what John's gone right back to
He was bringing out stuff yesterday, and I thought, I'll just leave him to it. He's happy in his element.
He loves figures. He'll know.
Plus, his brain must be so full of it all.
He knows every to the quarter of an ounce what he's caught, where he's finished, next peg.
I've got all of those, but what I'm after is these stories about people, about what Ivan taught you or taught Eddie Allen taught you, or wow. Yeah, because Robin was brilliant yesterday. He was telling stuff on there, wasn't it? He was telling us not only about Dave, which he's told me before, but he said you haven't quite got it right yet. And then he was telling me about whether bread was any good for Bream, and he went to see Eddie Allen, and he told me all that story, and I've got it on there.
Because when we first gone Ivans, we used, like I say, we'd fish Monday night, go back to Ivan's house, drop the kit, not much more, I'd walk home then, but Tuesday I'd go down there, and you'd walk in and there'd be all the different float making kit, not in abundance, but be a balsa, peacocks, rosewood, soaked in oil for the bottom of stick floats.
Is this Eddie?
Eddie and Ivan, because Eddie's was just the same, and he lived a few hours down from me before I got to Ivan's house.
Yeah.
So it's in front
now
of his...
I know what the pork pie junction looks like, because we've been past it 3 or 4 times now.
Well,
we've been to Fossway this morning,
Foss Park,
you know. So we come past it again. Oh, that's the pork.
And that was built by Scott, beautiful building, and that's a council estate. When you get to the roundabout, as you now go further past it, so the pork pie aisle is behind you.
Yeah.
The first thing you see is a church. Next thing you see is an electrical thing which used to be a police station. Then 2 bungalows. Then my house, my family house, first house on the estate, Glen Hills Boulevard, for a council estate. Don't sound like that, does it? Well, sounds like
give it a push,
opposite the Champs-Élysées. But what they did in council estates, you always used to have the prime road, and then things would get less behind them.
Oh, right.
We had a massive garden, and that road you drove down was all grass. And the football that went on there, Howard Riley, Colin Appleton lived round the corner, played for Leicester City. We used to kick the ball on there with us. We used to clean the cars. And one day, Howard Riley and Colin Appleton come to my mum's house. Are you Phillips, mother? I said, yeah. Brought him some tickets for the match. And Mum's like this. Well, who are you? I said, oh, we play football for Leicester City. She said, I got 6 boys. He said, oh, I only can get 2 tickets. And it was such a beautiful place. So then the fishing comes, we go down Eddie Allen's. So Tuesday would be a bit of a kit day, but the float might not be till the next week, Mark. It might not necessarily for this week. So we put bodies onto peacocks.
It takes a week to make it with the paint dry.
Oh, on the other hand, we've been painting them 12 at night for the next day.
We did
pouring
some
a bit
in the
of
mid-70s. We had car sprays, and we made. I remember one night we need these floats for tomorrow. We started making
them
about
through
8
the
o'clock,
hopper. You put them through the drying hopper.
and we cellulose paint. We had it done by 11.
Yeah.
And we used them the next day, and yeah, that'd do. And the paint's still on them.
One day we got no colours, so we took up Linda's.
No varnish.
It didn't last all day, a bit thick, but it were all right. But yeah, times we'd gone, the floats would drop damp going by. And then there'd be, you see what we were going through, there were centre pins around Mark. Eddie Allen always had one in his basket. Don Rowley always had one. Mal Jones next door, but they're slowly getting dust on them.
Yeah, there's
Fixable.
them, yeah.
Then there's rods that Ivan's took in and altered. Perhaps took an end joint, took it off, spliced it back round.
Yeah, changed the action of it.
Made it
tighter,
top heavy or top, more top action. But then again, if you got the top action and your middle of your rod's too solid on pound one bottom, you're going to have trouble.
It just bends and then goes solid, doesn't it?
You can't just, you know the feeling, Mark, because you're a good roach fisherman. There's a point where a rod's going to stop.
Yeah.
The end bit's done its lot and it stopped. When you've got a bigger fish, you're passenger.
Howard's got Ivan's 12-foot Royal Ensign Jubilee rod, whatever it is. Lee's Jubilee rod.
Yeah, because Christopher's got the one I won the national.
A 12-foot.
Dave Rossi had one. There were only a few about now.
And this was the one before this was what they modelled the Persuader on.
Exactly.
And this is the 60s. I got the date for it, something like 67. But we waggled this in hours sitting with it one.
And you
Sunday
seen how nice
afternoon.
the cork handle is?
Thick handle on it, yeah.
Unbelievable.
That was Ivan's 12-foot.
Unbelievable.
Right, and there was a 13-foot. We don't know who's got that.
Christopher's got it.
Alright.
Because Dave Rossi had a golden. Not all of them had golden jubilees.
No, some of them had these steel rods as well. The
Exactly.
paper flashes
So
with
with
glass
the
tip.
steel rods, solid glass tops. Also, with the built cane and split cane steel rod.
Yeah.
Because my first ledgering rod I had off Ivan and Roy, which the built cane, is that a circle one?
No, that's whole.
That's the whole one.
That's
The
how
split
it
cane's the
grows.
hexagon shape.
And then you split it into 6 strips and
Six.
glue it together. Yeah, and that's built or split. You
That's
can
a
call it
lovely
whichever you like.
So we've had the solid one, and my end joint was solid glass. One Roy and
Yeah.
I've been mucking about with. And I've drawn, and I'm on the Grey 2's Championship Relief Channel, and I'm next to Russell Old. He can only be 12 or 13. Chucked in, and it looks massive to me, Relief Channel.
Well, it's massive.
It's massive.
It's
It's
massive. It's
massive.
100 yards wide under it.
It's looking at it, you think it's like a baby sea. And I'm only like 13, so I've started fishing. I've lost 5 fish now. Got 2 in, 4.5 pound each. Rod can't handle them. I've gone through the solid bit. As soon as it got that, I couldn't do anything with it. Perhaps now I could have. And Russell Old sat next to me. I didn't know him. And he went to talk Ivan after. I said, Phil could have won that man. He said, no one could catch fish round him. And there were these big shoulder boom and it wouldn't move. Didn't think it was that big though. Some prawn, didn't he, pal? Did you see it? Because I've been in the ocean. I said, oh. It's 30 years old, this film. He's always dressed immaculate. Italian, Dave. His dad was Trasy Tilers. You know them little tiles?
Yeah.
Best in West. Russell.
Oh, it's fantastic to have him. Dave Danes and that. Because I spoke to you, Linda, Dave and Dave on Saturday. Everyone else, and Howard eventually, because he'd been out all day. Just to say to Howard, yeah, we're all right, I'll see you tomorrow. John and you was on the way and all that.
Oh, John loved it, didn't he?
Didn't
John love it?
Dave was really, they were both ever so happy on Saturday.
I think they were happy with each other and everything, Mark. The day was, I said to Val when you were away, when you look
Linda
at...
said it was wonderful. She said they just couldn't believe it had happened, you know, it's like, what?
And what it is, man, I always knew this day had come in one fashion. I told you, didn't I? I knew, because where I'd seen it from, never tried to beat anyone. Never. You'd just be happy to be listening to the methods. When your chance comes, do what you can do.
Yeah.
Just leave. Just don't think too much more than that. And then when you sit
It's
down
all about
fishing,
catching fish, not anything else, isn't it?
and then when you sit down more, never too much stress of who's worthy next to it. It's like
People get
analysing the
worried,
30 metres in front. That's enough of a day's task. Obviously, if it's not going your way, you have a look round and push to see what might want changing. But generally, you just empty yourself with that your peg. And, isn't it, Mark? You know, at the end of the day, you think if I've not got the best out of it.
I was in Wintle League teams, and in a couple of teams I was in.
How many matches would there be, Mark?
6 in the Wintle League, yeah. And a couple of different. I fished for about 4 teams overall. And the last 2 I fished for, you knew they were finished because the team meetings were all about what's the best draw. And I thought that's the one thing you can't do
That's the
anything
last
about.
thing you talk
That is
about.
pure pot luck. It's like I said to them both times. I said, what draw we get, we can't do anything about. What
we can
we do is whether we got the right method, the right bait, we know what we're trying to catch and not catch. If it's like this, we want to do this, and if it's like that, do that. Don't worry about the draw, because all it affects is each of us. Even if we got the worst draw, some of us might have good ends, some might have bad ends. There's no perfect draw in it. And they were just so, both times it happened, they just drifted to that point, and then they stopped, instead of winning.
And sometimes that is the worry, or the I've got to do well. There's some apprehension where just wait till you see your water, man. What's the point to think about anything? You might ask, is that a good area? That lifts you a bit. Oh, you're drawn there. You'll be all right. What, 3 pegs round the bend? Don't need to tell you anything. That's all you need to hear some days. The peg's a peg.
Yeah, just so a little bit of, oh yeah, that one's got chub in it, or that one looks like it should have, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
So don't fish for
You
it.
don't need too much and a little bit, and that's what them lads had. Like I say, I even would be speaking to someone, the phone calls, unbelievable. Minnie's mum, Julia, bedridden, and I used to do her errands, and she was the secretary. She'd get confused a few of the messages, and then many messages. And I always remember when Ivan picked for England.
The phone there, his mum.
Ivan gets picked for England, so Julia in the morning, she thought his letter was different. Got her other glasses. Pass me my glasses, Philip. I could see her joy. You see Ivan Stan Smith's letter.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ernie, who used to help Minnie, not a fisherman, a lovely neighbour, lovely friend of Ivan's dad, and Ivan's dad was a lovely man. I used to cross him in the street, Shakespeare Street. He used to be walking down in a Crombie, real deep, dark, blue-black, little bit of collar trim, hat. And they were the first bookmakers, credit bookmakers in Leicester. Very first one. I walked by him, get to the house, and the next person I met was Tiger. He'd snap at everyone. This little Jack Russell. He used to go around with Ivan like he used to go around like it with the sleeve as his jumper. It'd be alright, and anyone come to the gate, Tiger's off. Before the slightest movement on the metal gate, Tiger's off. Jumping all over me. Then Ernie used to come in, straighten all the things for a minute, get a day started, do a shopping. So I started to drop into that. Didn't do a lot of cleaning for a minute. Also did the errands for Mal Jones, the next door. His wife was very ill. She looked a bit like you, Val. Dark hair, very much like you. And she was ill. Mal was an ex-marine, ex-sailor. He's the one that took me on my first fishing holiday on the boat from Brahms Boatyard in Cambridge, all up the old River Ousmark, Brandon Creek, right up to the start of the relief channel. The boat's there and the bridges there and the pub there, and every night we stopped at a pub with all these anglers that took me. So every night I'm fishing on the boat, looking after the boat there in the pub. Starts in Cambridge, Mark, pike and eel, first stop, all up the Dimmock's Coat, all up the Cam, then join the Ouse. It was amazing. Then the most beautiful day. I caught plenty of fish. Woke up to nature every single day. We pulled into Ely Mark. Where you pull in, it's a real big tall bank where the boats must have come in. So they're getting set up and the market's on. So they're good for provisions, and there's Cromwell's house, a cathedral, unbelievable how little Ely is. Gone on a divert here. So we had a lovely couple of weeks. We're going back to that. So I've got down Ivan's house. Busy. Forget what I was going to say. That's why at home I've had to stop sometime, cancel it and start again. Because there's that much floods through me when I start about it. I thought, don't go on a tangent, Philip. Don't go on a tangent.
Ivan's got picked for England, that's where you are.
Yeah, so it's gone like this.
She's read the letter.
Read the letter, could see the excitement in Minnie. And Ernie was there. I don't even know what's in the letter. So I think this is about, it must have been in the morning, most probably it's that Ivan's out of town or at work, so it might have been in the week mark. So anyway, Ivan's...
It must be in the spring, wasn't it? Sometime, or summer, early summer. I don't know when the World Championship was. It was probably...
And this must be now, Mark, 68, 69.
72, same year you won the National.
Is that the year we first nations?
Czechoslovakia
Well done.
went to, yeah. Baruka, I think it was called. The River Baruka, with Robin Harris.
So anyway, Minnie's told Ernie. Ernie just thinks, well, I knew he'd fish for England one day. He told someone on the Saffron Lane. Before Ivan's got in the street, the neighbour said, oh, he's fishing for England then, you He told his mum off, first time I've ever known his... Told me off. I thought I'd told him. I'd never ever been told off in my life about it. Frightened me. I said, no, I didn't even see what was happening. I didn't grasp what that meant. Yeah. And then when Ivan got picked for the 74 national, I think, 74, on the Wellington, when he couldn't fish.
He couldn't fish because he fished for England. He went wherever it was then.
So we had a meeting, and Ivan firmly wanted Dave as the captain.
Yeah.
Firmly wanted Dave, and I can always remember a bit of a rumble going on. And I thought, I can't understand this. So Ivan's then gone, we'll win it on the Welland. He's gutted he'd come fish it. He said, we'll win it. I said, well, it's a doorstep. If we can't drag something out of something there, someone's going to have to fish very well to beat us. So we all has the bets on to win the national mark, but you can have each way betting, can't you?
Yeah.
So none of the lads wanted the each way.
Oh, blimey, that's all to win.
They've had all to win. No, Ivan had all the each way.
Did he?
He said, if you don't want the each way, there's my tenner. So you can have your 8-1 winnings, I'll have the extra from it. Yeah. And that whole build-up to that, Dave Rossi, was brilliant. I remember going a couple of days to go fishing with him. I could see Dave had never been so anxious as that year. Because he knew we were fancied for it.
Yeah.
And the time it...
Drawers, no.
He caught... What did he catch?
He caught 4
ounces.
5 minutes. 2 ounces.
From
he hadn't put any ground bait in, and he put a bit of cloud in. In the last 10 minutes, he suddenly remembered that Ivan had said, I think if you still can't get a bite and it's all run out, just try a bit of cloud, and he put a bit of cloud in the last few minutes, and he'd been trying to pinky and squat, nothing, and he put that cloud in, and they came in it straight away, and he went bang, 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 and it was over.
And I think they were that small, you couldn't keep them in your bleeding keep net.
Robin, he was tremendous on this one, he was, and he said they'd got hold of 4 micromesh keep nets, and they worked out which
people needed them.
Were most likely to need it. Well, you didn't need it for your fall for him, did you? It's a beautiful picture of angling time to you. You've got that look, looking into the camera, and that tips right round there, and there's that look and thinking, I got, I'm in here.
I'm shitting. Sorry.
But yeah, I know what you mean. You're in the old...
We're there that one day. I'm about... Here's New Road End, Mark.
Have you got a tuna?
Yes, please.
And that's your lunch club.
Thank you.
Do you need any sauces? No,
we're fine.
You're okay?
Thanks.
All right,
Yeah,
enjoy your
thank you.
meals. Thank you.
Looks
Keep
top.
going, that's still going.
Yeah, so...
Can we pull this a bit forward?
Yeah.
So,
just leave that.
sorry. So I'm at New Road End, Mark, like this. And the Welland has a road just behind the hump in many of the sections. And it has a bit of a vehicles and water and fish. They know they're coming through sometimes. It makes, plus the fact you're sitting down for a national mark. So is the T-junctions here where the road comes? I'm about 12 pegs down there, Mark. And I don't... These are top numbers of... I don't know what number peg we're drawn in the Welland one, Mark. But I know just past here was the section end on my right. Mark...
Because you were... I think it was peg 2, wasn't it? So you're almost on the end of the section.
And the start of the other one.
Yeah.
So we're going on to that. I knew it would...
So you're only 2 from the end. Yeah, from the end.
We can't get by, none of us, Mark. Gin clear, and we look 8 pegs up. Oh, and I think a lot of weights come from there, Mark. I don't think the man won it, might have been second. But he was catching that many fish. And then all of a sudden, this election bus come up. He started speaking on the tannoy. He got in a tangle with some traffic, papping hooters. All of a sudden, the fish, boom.
They moved.
And I'm like this, Mark, looking down. He gets one, he gets one, he gets one, he don't. Bang, first one, I foul up. And that one that I, on that rod, I think that's £4 plus in the tail, Mark. 18, wouldn't have been more than the 16. Oh, and the rod, the whole of the rod were ready to go out my hand, Mark. Big fish, got it in. And we had caught them in 30 minutes, not another bite, Mark. And I honestly was... When obviously I caught my bream after perhaps 3 hours, Mark, but my head was going, how am I going to catch a fish here? And we had to stick it out in the hope something could move, and it come good in the end. But Dave that year, the practice he put, and Dave Rosser, the amount of times we went up that year, Mark, and it was the joy of it was even very pleasurable, knowing we'd done what Ivan asked us to do. And Dave, especially Dave, I think that's most probably one of the best days, although he didn't catch much, Mark, that he did all the other duties.
I think he was like a secret weapon, Dave, and he didn't get the credit, but in this book he's getting the credit. Ivan's getting a hell of a lot of credit. It's Ivan's book, but,
exactly.
But Dave was one of the quiet ones who won 2 nationals for Leicester, really. Not on his own.
No.
As a part of a very
massive
strong
part.
team. But he
and
made
his presence, Mark.
Yeah.
Because now this, the national on the Trent, which I think I've told you about before, when I watched Dave. So when you're with him tonight, Mark, I remember that as well. There's a lovely way. You know, he taught nice pegs, Mark. The end of the room and half again. The big wave with all foam coming, Mark. It now takes a sweeping bend. And Dave's just a couple as the bend turns, so you can get a little bit of ease in the water. And I don't think the match was won with more than £10. That's how sour the Trent was, Mark. It must be
69.
And I'm there.
£9 won it.
Thank you, Mark.
Dreadful.
So they all knew about this, and as I said to you, Dave, when he's on a pound bream and them fish, he's never happier with his style, his confidence, and his comfortability is massive. Now you start putting him on a 1.1 bottom, and the finer parts of roach angling, his heaviness of his trade and his hands don't allow you to be a little bit finer. Because I used to watch Ogie people and Pete J's, so finely, delicately in control.
I've learned so much. It's like the last time I went fishing bar 1, I fished it at the Stillwater. That was the day that hurt me groin sitting down on a fishing box. But the day after I did fish, and I was creaky then. I'm fishing £1.5 mainline on the Waggler. And I once got murdered on the Bristol Haven on a tough match, and I was fishing £1.5 mainline. There was a very good angler from Bathway. And I thought, he's catching fish and I'm not, and I'm on a 22 and a £1.5
14s in bread.
To the end, 26 to 8 ounce bottom, £1 maximum mainline he fished. He murdered the match, 6.13.
What tackle, Mark? How far are you fishing? You stick floating?
Down the middle of the Bristol Haven below Bath. waggler, and he's
is
fishing
fine.
10s and 13s down the line. He was on a 26 to 8 ounce, and he got 6.13. I had 2.13. I did all right, but it just made me look like an idiot.
Like he's standing still.
Yeah, and I thought, and after I said, "Come, I've been trying to buy all match, getting old roach here and trying this and that and up and down and trying
And
to
he's been
feed and going
consistent.
right across the river." And he's just caught much more consistent. And after he said, "Yeah, I've been hanging Maxima mainly."
And that Maxima were quite a fine line, weren't it?
It's not that fine, no, but
in
it's
the day.
probably £1.25. But and I thought, cool, you taught me a lesson today, mate.
And
Well done, you
that's
deserved to
sometimes,
win.
not only that, Mark, but when you come back, some of the days when you've either not caught a lot of fish or been in an area where you felt you're better, they end up as good a day as you get in the fish.
But it's interesting saying about Dave not being a roach angler, you know. I won't say he couldn't catch roach, but he wasn't his happiest then, was he?
And this what was on the trend with me and Sedmore, we were bank running, and all men laying down on the bank, and he's about there, Dave, Mark, watching his float, and and he was catching gudgeon comfortable, Mark, perhaps a few little white ones, and it just looked as though it just needed a bit of alteration, Mark. You needed just to have the confidence, just put a couple of inch on depth, ease that caster back, you'll get one. And and I could see it, Mark, sitting there. I thought, David, you should be catching more fish, or you can, not should be. I thought, oh, Dave, you could catch more fish out of this peg. And when he's with him tonight, say to him, just take me through your national, Dave. And I don't know whether it was just below Shelford Weir. Don't think it'd be Fiskerton.
Stoke Weir, isn't it?
Stoke Bardolph
Yeah.
or Stoke Weir.
Yeah, which is going down to Shelford below that, isn't it?
Yeah, because we walked so many pegs that day, me and Sedmore. Do you imagine it, Mark?
This is Phil, aged 15,
Yeah.
telling this bloke who's 30 how to fish, basically.
And this, how could you tell him? Because I'm sitting there, Mark. I've just been watching Kevin Ashurst, Benny Ashurst, Ian Eaps put a stick float down as though it belongs to the water. Benny Ashurst.
Kevin was right up there. He was I think they both had £8.
Oh, I don't know what were Kev's peg like then.
Kevin had something like £8. They Stoke won it, and Benny might have done well as well. But Kevin was right up there. We're talking top 5. £9 won it, Roy Else, and I think
That's it. I always remember
Kevin had
Else.
something like 8.4. He's only about a
What
£1
did Dave have? Big 7.
I don't know without looking it up.
And then with you saying what you just said there, Mark, about Dave, bring Dave more to the front. I'm not telling you what to do, but you've noticed something, Mark, that I lived through and seen the progression. The times that people went down to see Ivan away from fishing become so constructive towards what we're doing and where we're going. Dave Downs used to come in, we get a word out of him on the Friday. Terrible driver, driving fast, his girlfriend were crazy with him, his job were crazy with him, so he could never relax. That's why he's like this fucking level. He always like this, and he finished about 7 times second one season till he was sick in the teeth. One day he's second, and they called the winner up out. They said first place, called the man's name out. As a black man walked up and won it. Not just a coffee coloured one, I'm talking jet. Been born in Birmingham, real Birmingham accent. And Dave goes, oh, who else is going to beat me? This is after all his second. Then the other one, he's on a drain and I'm watching him. Might be 40 foot. No, but a bit more towards Lincolnshire.
South 40 foot?
Not bad.
Because there's 2 40
Yes.
There's the one you fished, that was the 40 foot, that People's, well you caught your big catcher brain for the People's.
That was Ramsey Mearside.
Ramsey 40
Mearside.
wasn't it?
Mearside. Ramsey Mearside and Ramsey 40 foot are only about a quarter mile apart. But it's beautiful when you.
Is Ramsey Mearside a separate drain then?
I'll have them
I'll
Romans
find it
were
on
good
the map.
doing them drains, weren't they, Mark? I will have to have a look at that.
Because the Ramsey 40 foot is very, very close to Ramsey Mearside.
It must be the same.
I've fished the Ramsey 40 foot once, that's it.
How do you
I
go?
remember this. Down the bottom of a high bank, pouring with rain, it was full of
lily
duckweed. No, all you could see was duckweed, and you couldn't fish for 3 hours, and then eventually it moved, and I had 70 fish in the last 2 hours. Because I'd fed it with pinkies, waiting
You'd
for it
have
to
loved
move.
coming round with Pete Jays and all that. Mark.
But the trouble was, it was pouring with rain, so at the top of the bank there's potato lorries going down, and with big puddles, and all the water's sort of coming down the bank over the top of it.
And the smell when they put that the smell round Ramsey when the pig doing or whatever they do. It's a lovely place, lovely history of it, Mark.
I think we stopped in Chatteris or March.
Well, I wonder if we stayed in my friend's pub, man.
Everyone had 3 eyes and 6 toes, you know.
And they'd most probably get busy around picking season. When you go out, you meet a young lady. What do you do then, love? Potato picker. Peter Maskell took me round there one night when I was young. He said, "Don't get a girlfriend round here, Phil. They're all land workers." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "They just pick fruit all the time."
Yeah, after a city boy, right for plucking.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
With Howard's wife, you know.
Yeah.
Just getting on
Don't
all
catch
right
up
with
with
her.
me when I stop. Well, I go, oh.
And when you come back from travelling and that, it just takes something out of the day. But on that with Dave, Mark, get him to take you slowly through that one, because that's what I seen from where I was. And I thought they were so close to winning. I don't know how the team went on collectively.
Not very well on the Trent.
It was
They
so
had about-
sour. The river was sour.
Yeah, Stoke had about £50 and Leicester had about 28, something like that. 25, £28, well short. Stoke
Did they
had
win
some-
it by a good measure then, Stoke?
Yeah,
Was Ian Heaps in it?
yeah,
Jimmy?
yeah. Benny
You-
and Kevin.
Cool.
It's nothing to do with Stoke. It was
Malta.
It was
Who else would be in? There'd be some good anglers in that.
it was basically a superstars team.
Because actually, they're all Manchester people. Ian is Stockport.
Yeah, and Lee. It was round Lee in Lancashire and
Yeah,
Stockport.
so they
it wasn't
invaded Stoke for the
It wasn't
team.
really a Stoke team. It was a superstar team. Yeah, with some good anglers. Might have been Tony Bielderman. It was all stars, all real good Trent anglers, all put together.
And then all the change in the tackle on the Trent bar. And people's interpretation of how to handle the day.
Yeah.
But the reason why I come back with that with Dave, one, because I knew Dave was very instrumental in a lot of things and quiet about it. I see him do things of kindness.
Well, he's told me the thing with on the 7, where he was meant to catch £7 a day, so according to Clive Smith and Ken Giles, peg by peg breakdown.
Okay.
So Dave started fishing 2 rod lengths out for Dave, single cast, a pound bottom,
Go on, Dave.
pound and a half main line, nothing. So he chucks out another 2 rod lengths, so catapults, so he's throwing as far as he can throw casters.
Loose then.
Yeah, as far as he can throw loose feed. Hooks a barbel, bang, gone. Because he's too fine in there. With your rods aren't very forget, and those barbels
No.
are so lively. They're only a couple of pounds, £3,
But this black thing.
£2. They're just
Good fighting for Dag
he
torpedo.
goes in
man.
again. Same happens again. He thinks
Get the feeder out.
he couldn't fish him. Not in 71, 72. You could not 71.
You can't. Could you
They
fish
changed the
straight ledger?
rules. Yeah. He thinks the float's all right. I can go crude on this.
Go on.
So he breaks off his rig completely, winds the line off, another spool of line, puts his ledger line on there, £3 line.
Go on.
Not that heavy. Threads it all up through. We only had about 6 rigs anyway, 8 rigs, Threads it all through, not 22.
So he's now in a panic, having to
Puts every
reset
float
it.
on. Well, no, I think
In
it was
a little
pretty
bit, but
calm,
go-
but yeah, right. I know what to do now.
Yeah.
I've got nothing in the net. I've lost 2 bar. I need some of these barbel, and then he gets 10 for £21. And Leicester win it by £12.
How was his section that was in?
He was 3rd or something in his section.
Bring Dave
Third or
Morton,
fourth.
give him some airplay then, and then take him through the Trent National.
I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight. It's going to be. We don't know what's going to happen.
And Brian's there as well.
Yeah, it's the carving down, I think. But he's all right. I've given him really good credit through that day, the Welland one. There was another match where they did really rubbish. Probably you were too young.
I think that might have been the Broads.
I think the Relief Channel they did badly, and he had £16, and the rest of them they had about 9 blanks. But Dave had £16. It was dire, hopeless.
What year was
Two
that, Mark?
teams, 67. 2 teams never had a blank. 2 whole teams made in Coventry with Billy Lane, £1.4 team weight.
67, Mark.
Yeah, you might not have gone there.
Might not have gone.
You were pretty young then, only 13. You might not have taken you along, or you might not have remembered it. Eh?
Christopher looked well yesterday.
Yeah, he was later on he was chatting away. We had it recording, you know, and he was telling me things. Linda brought out all the personal photos. So I've got some of those at the moment. I've got to scan them and send them back, you know.
Any of Julie, Ivan's mum, or Linda's mum? That's going too far, perhaps. I'm glad you got Eddie
I've
Allen.
got Ivan this eye.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. The one with the greyhound when he was about 14, him in football too, and one with Jack Curtis. School photo of Jack Curtis. I'll send
I'd like
it
a
to
copy
your
of that.
nephew when we get older, when we get sort out the emails. Because you got the card with my email on.
Yes, that's brilliant. Oh, and there's been some
Ivan's in the
material.
picture, so it's a school school photo, 1950. Jack Curtis there.
He might have been deputy or head, because he was my headmaster.
Yeah,
And the Lancaster or Lansdowne boys.
Lansdowne boys.
Such a good
It's got a thing.
teacher.
Lansdowne boys formed there, 1950, and Ivan is in there, and it's got a picture of Ivan. It's a little shrimp in his cricket stuff, and some football ones. Ivan with the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Didn't know he won the FA Cup. No, it's somewhere like Enderby or somewhere like that. And then, you know, they used to take it on tour, and you could pose
It's
with
his
it. I think it's
senior league when he played for Oadby.
Oadby, yeah. Well, they posed with the cup. You know, you were allowed to do.
That's
they take
right, the
it out
FA
on
let
tour,
it
don't
go
they?
on the tour.
They say about it where we worked once, didn't they? We had the FA Cup upstairs, a couple of security blokes, and you can go and pose with it, you know, and take a picture of the FA Cup.
Charity, didn't it?
Yeah, it was something you had to pay a quid or something to be.
Because what I said to Valmar, with what you're doing today, yesterday was everything. It was.
I didn't even know it was going to happen like that. I was
exactly,
going to
it
just
was-
come up and talk to some people, and then it got more and more, and I thought, I wonder
Let's
if
have a
everyone
gathering.
could just gather together, and I'd talk to everyone then. And the only one who hadn't responded at all was Roy, but he'd been up today anyway.
Who, David?
Roy has gone to that.
The funeral.
Yeah, David Hall's funeral. David Hall's funeral today.
Oh, he's passed away, isn't he?
Yeah, he had cancer.
Flamboyant, crazy guy.
Right, with him, he was, like you say, he was.
Is that on the Trent? Don't know whether Johnny Moult or one of them. They're fishing away. And the hook something like this, moving.
Yeah, Robin's told me this.
All of a sudden, hand come out of water.
Oh.
Only up to dead body.
Dead woman.
Oh my God.
Pulled it out, put it behind, carried on fishing. Couldn't weigh a tin bow, can you believe it? I'm sure they put it on the bank, carried on fishing. Robin tell you.
Yeah, he
Who
said,
was it that did it?
Johnny Moore.
Johnny, what's Johnny Moore?
And they said with his reputation with women that they said, what, you're saving her for later?
Oh no.
Very, very rude, you know. You only pull dead ones now and things like that. Really,
The
really
extent
rude.
women will go to come and see me.
Yeah, it is true. Because we had it in Wimborne one day on the New Year's Day Open, you know, right. I don't know where you had a walk round the other week. Did you go down to the main river or not?
Yes.
Where the factories used
Yeah.
to be. Did you walk down there? Flights, that was fight with fuel. I think they've knocked it down. It's all houses now. I haven't been down there for a year or two now. And we were opposite that.
Is that
on
where
the
it
other
could
side.
join together?
Yeah, by the bridge, the little river comes into the main
That's
river.
right.
And then
And
you've got
that's
the big
below
high
that
bridge,
then.
and then it's below, and there's probably houses, and we were the right-hand bank going down on. And I wasn't that far below that bridge, but it was coming up with a flood, so it was lifting and dead. This copper comes down the bank. Morning, all right, yeah. if you see any seen a body, he goes, well, if we had, we'd have told you. We didn't have mobiles. This is 30 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Send a smoke signal.
We'd have told you. We'd have run up and told you. He said, well, if you see anything, get in touch and all that. And we didn't see anything. And they knew some old bloke was missing. And they thought he'd chucked himself off the bridge in the river. That was what
Hope he's just gone round a friend's.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, he turned up at Longham Bridge.
Lovely.
On the weir,
Oh,
on the
dead?
waterworks. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He took the right trek then. His body had it gone out to sea and come back in.
No,
it's gone down the.
Longham's about 4 or 5 miles, but that was the first thing that caught it, stopped it. So they didn't search the river. There was one at Julian's, wasn't it? One New Year's Eve, bloke for a bet jumped off the bridge when it was in full flood, 10 foot on.
Yeah.
Jumped off the bridge, and they went through it with the frogmen and all that, couldn't find him.
Yeah, New Year's Eve, I can
And
swim
then
over there.
he turned up at Longham when the next flood took him down there.
Nick movement. So have you still got your room there to relax in?
Oh yeah.
Of course you're staying tonight.
Yeah, we're all up for another.
I'm going to
day.
make a move now, Mark.
That's right. Nice to see you.